Yeah,
Look at this thing.
yeah. Too up, too down.
Look at this
Hey.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted the crown and to be celebrated. I rented a tux and I ordered a mink. Stood in the mirror like mama, I made it. Proceeded to brushing the teeth in the sink. Caught me a grill and I'm so melanated. I polished the chain, I ain't gold in the link. And I got me a baby who gave me some babies. I'm raising a lady and building a king. Too cold, you too busy running with another man lane, I guess. Yeah, too bold. I be running on the one way, never change my set like, I don't ever use my signals, yeah. I be in the lane myself, yeah. I don't gotta change my mental, yeah. And I ain't gotta chase my wealth, and I accept my daddy got a kingdom, and everything I ever got is his. If I ever got a problem, I'ma seek him. I never doubt him. Been about his biz, oh man. Been there. I ain't gotta ride on the wave when the ocean is his. Close with the kid with a
What's good, baby? It's your boy Dale. I'm back in the saddle again. Our motto is to buy, build. We already bought it already, so we already own it, free and clear. Refinance to long-term debt, cash flow. That is the motto. Cliff, man, is that a pretty strong motto, man? What do you think?
Man, the model is strong. Like, you're getting each piece of the invest, right?
What it do, y'all? It's your partner Dale back in the saddle again for another edition of Real Estate Friday Live. We call it the Investor's Edge, guys. We actually are rebranding the entire thing. We've been pretty successful. It's just gonna be me today, guys. Cliff is handling some business for his guys, but hope you guys had a great New Year. Hope you had a great start of the new year. That you wrote down your vision board. You sat down and wrote down your plan, ran it by some wise counsel to make sure it's pretty good, guys, so you can execute at a high level. If you could, guys, do us a favor, like, share, and subscribe, and whatever platform that you're on, right? There is a bell there. Click on that bell so when your partners come live, you come kick it with us. We can dive in and talk about our topics, man. So it's going to be a very, very, very good day, guys. I think you like this topic. I really think you are, because it deals with a lot of strategy and politics, right? Strategy, market analyzation, and also politics, guys. And again, when it comes to real estate, you have to understand that politics is part of you being in real estate. It's a part of that thing. It is what it is, guys. Well, man, what we're going to do, guys, we're going to do something a little bit in reverse a little bit today, guys. We're going to talk about the political side first and how we can strategize there, right? And then we're going to get over to the current market analysis, specifically in the city of Dallas. Let's walk through what we're talking about, guys. Today, guys, did y'all hear it? California, the state of California is proposing a 5% wealth tax on billionaires, on unrealized gains, okay? I'm going to explain to you what that is here in a second. Number two, the Dallas housing market warning. Man, there's something going on with the Dallas market. That's my market, guys. We'll talk about it. Number three, with this information concerning Dallas and other cities, should you flip or hold in today's economy? And lastly, we're going to talk about that in the Investor's Edge for today's market. We're going to answer that question. Should you flip or hold in today's economy? Very good question. But let's dive into the first topic, guys. Man, Cali is on one today. California is on one. Guys, they have proposed something that I think is moronic. They are proposing a 5% wealth tax on unrealized gains, right, for billionaires. Let me say it again. They are proposing a 5% wealth tax on billionaires for unrealized gains. Let me explain to you unrealized gains before we get to no, I'm gonna let you play the video first. Then I'm gonna explain what unrealized gains is. Okay, let's dive into this video fairly quickly here. And I think this is the dumbest idea that I've seen in a long time. But again, It is California. You never know with them. Let's see what's going down. Here's California. Let's go get it in.
Silicon Valley's wealthiest residents are once again threatening to leave California, this time over a proposed state wealth tax. Now, the proposal would impose a one-time 5% tax on the assets of California residents worth more than $1 billion.
Wow.
It would require residents to report their total net worth, including property, investments, businesses, and other assets, so the state can tax overall wealth, not just income. Critics warn it is a slippery slope, saying that, like the income tax, it'll grow over time and could eventually sweep in the middle class while expanding government power over private savings.
Stop right there, guys. Notice what she said concerning what they want to see. They want to see all of their assets. We're talking about real estate, paintings, cars, businesses, retirement accounts, life insurance. They want to see all of that. And they want to take an inventory of how much that is valued at, right? And then they want to tax all of that. I'm going to tell you how that's a problem in a second, but let's get to finish the video.
And property.
I mean, the whole thing is so infuriating. We already pay the highest taxes in the country. We already have massive, bloated, bureaucratic government spending. They've doubled the budget of the state of California in the last 10 years. Is everything twice as good? No, it's all worse. The last time they did this, they said there'd be a top, they had put an extra band of income tax on for high earners. They said it was temporary. They've just re-extended it for another 10 years. It never goes away because they're addicted to tax and spending. And by the way, most of the money will actually go to the unions in the form of pensions and making up for all the shady dealings that they've got there.
Now, if the measure qualifies for the November ballot and is approved by voters, it would apply retroactively to anyone.
I want you to go, oh, hold on, wait a minute. What?
Who lived in California as of January 1st, 2026.
So hold on, guys. Did you hear what he said? They love taxes and they love to extend the tax. All right. They'll begin with a certain number, right? And then what happens is something will happen and they will extend it or grow it even higher. This is what they're doing, guys. This is what they're doing. It don't make no sense to me at all, but it's what they do. Let me kind of explain to you guys what unrealized gains is, okay? Let me explain to you guys what this is. What they want to do, remember what she had said. She said that they wanted to want an inventory of all of their assets, all of them, every single one. All right, we're talking about real estate. We're talking about businesses. We're talking about cars, paintings. I'm going to have to say it, dogs, because dogs do have a value depending on how you breed them, right? Life insurance, all retirement accounts, overseas investments is what they wanted all. They want to see all of it. Then they want to take that total number and tax it. Here's the problem. They're getting that number based on what's on paper. They don't have that in cash. Let me give you an example. Elon Musk, I believe, was worth over $200 billion. All right? $200 billion. That does not mean he has $200 billion in the bank liquid cash. Okay? That's not what he has. That's the value of his company's portfolio that he actually owns. Okay? On paper. Right? He has to do one of two things to be able to get access to that cash. Liquefy by selling, or he can liquefy by leveraging or borrowing against said valuation of stock or valuation of the appraisal value of said investment. That's how you can liquefy assets. So when you hear someone saying, well, Elon Musk is worth $200 billion, that's on paper. That doesn't mean he has $200 billion in the bank. Understand that. So this $200 billion is unrealized. He hadn't received that in cash. It's not income yet. Okay, it's not income. It's just portfolio asset values. It's what they call it's the valuation of it's just the valuation of the asset itself. What they want to do, they want to tax that unrealized gain. Okay? For instance, if you buy a stock and you say you spend $50,000, right? And the stock over time increases to $200,000, right? There's a delta or spread or arbitrage of $150,000. They want to tax the $150,000, which is unrealized because you hadn't cashed out. You haven't monetized it yet, right? So, and again, most of the stocks, most people have already maybe sold. So sometimes they may tax it twice. So it's an unrealized gain. This is what they're doing. Okay? This is what they're doing. And this is a state precedent. Now, I want to walk you through how they got to this. Okay? This was not proposed by Gavin Newsom, the governor, any state legislators, or any U.S. congressman or U.S. senators from the state of California. That was done strategically. Okay? That was done strategically. All right? This is why that was done. We're going to walk through why this was done here in a second, but I want you guys to see exactly what's going on. Now, there's been some backlash from the billionaires concerning this. So let's go to CNN real quickly and see what they're saying about this tax. Okay, this unrealized gain tax. And I'm going to tell you what the real strategy is here shortly, but I want to give you the entire story, okay? Again, keep in your mind, unrealized gains is being taxed. The money they have not received yet. They haven't monetized it yet. So let's go to this next video real quickly. This is Scott Jennings and a lady here that is actually for it. She is for this tax of unrealized gain. She wants it. She loves it. Watch this exchange between Scott Jennings, right, and her, and then we're going to go to what the billionaires are saying. Let's get to it. Here we go.
So there's nothing to this capital flight. They've done this
analysis. I'm against the fact that we don't have more rich people.
What is the number that makes you too rich?
That is not that's not for me to decide. I want to raise taxes on the wealthy and percentages. The top 1%. The top 1%.
It's when you look at the problems in your state and you determine we need X amount of money, and so you go after the person when you can say, well, we can justify this under 5%.
No, what we need is more opportunity for more people to be able to get rich like these other guys. What we don't have is the ability for people to make as much money as these guys.
Put me down for pro-capitalism.
We've been pulling. I'm pro-capitalism too. I want more capitalism in more places that doesn't already exist. I want more capitalism in urban communities where kids are.
So what's happening is Scott is actually saying, which I agree with him. He's saying that, hey, these billionaires are talking about leaving, and he's right. He's right. That's one thing. All right, that's one video. Let's go to another video with Scott real quickly concerning this tax on unrealized gains again. One sec here. Let's get to it. One sec here, guys. But before I go to there, let's go over to what the billionaires are saying real quickly concerning this. And I'm going to bring in a former senator and a former Republican senator and a former Democrat congressman talking about this very topic. And you're going to be very surprised at what they say. Very surprised by this because the billionaires are not happy. They're talking about leaving the state. So they're talking about leaving the state, and be honest with you, I don't blame them at all because of the fact that what's happening is these people are getting taken advantage of. Let's dive into it real quickly. Let's bring it in. Hold on one second. Here we go. Boom. There we go. Bow. Come on. Let's go. There we go. Here we go. Let's look at this real quickly here, guys, and see what's going on. Here we go.
All right, joining us right now for more on the wealth tax debate is Heidi Heitkamp. She is former Democratic Senator of North Dakota, also a CNBC contributor, and Pat Toomey, who is former Republican Senator of Pennsylvania. And welcome to both of you. Senator Toomey, why don't we give you first dibs at this? Because I want to get into Heidi's more nuanced view of some of these things. But what's your takeaway on whether a tax like this is A, legal, and B, effective?
Well, so the bottom line is I think this is a remarkably bad idea from a state that is quite generous in providing us with bad ideas. Yeah. First and foremost is the principle here. We are not anywhere in this country, to my knowledge, have we established the principle that the government is going to confiscate part of your assets to give them away to people to whom they don't belong.
I agree. This type of tax, guys, is theft. I'll unpack it in a second. Okay, here we go.
This is something new and different. We definitely take income. We take a disproportionately high share of the income from upper income people, certainly relative to their share of earnings. And that's because we have an extremely progressive tax system. It's one of the most progressive in the entire OECD. But this would be a whole new idea that we're going to just confiscate part of your assets after, in most cases, people have paid income taxes on whatever it is that allowed them to accumulate these savings. A couple of other points I would make about this particular proposal. First of all, it's a lot of false advertising when they suggest this is going to be a one-time hit. That's the way it's drafted, but it also stipulates in the proposal that any revenue from this new tax has to go to expanding healthcare, and that means Medicaid as a practical matter. As we've seen, including very recently with respect to Obamacare, anytime you expand an entitlement, the left intends that expansion is permanent. And when the funding runs out and the spending continues, they're coming back for more. And when the exodus of billionaires, it's not going to be just billionaires. People are going to realize there's no limiting principle here. If you can confiscate the assets of a billionaire, why not someone who's worth 500 million or 100 million? And so the exodus will be profound. And these are the folks that pay the lion's share of the revenue to California. This is a disaster in the making if they proceed with this.
Senator Hike.
I agree with him on that because these billionaires talk about leaving. They're like, we're out. And you're going to see in a second. You're going to see them talk in a second, right? But notice what this former senator actually said is they passed these I call them theories. Policies are just really theories. Theories, in my opinion, theories. And when the theory does not yield a good return on investment, since the government does not generate any goods or services via revenue that way, how do governments make money? Via taxes. That's it. So they got to tax you more. And if the billionaires are leaving the state and they pay the lion's share of the taxes, where do you go from there? The middle class and the poor. Let's get to it.
Camp, I'd ask you to defend the principle here and take the other side of that argument, but I don't think you want to.
Well, I've long said you can't really be successful in taxing unrealized capital gains. I will disagree with Pat on one thing. He says this is a new idea. This is not a new idea. This is called a personal property tax.
Correct.
And this personal property tax has been tried and failed in many, many states. It's been tried in a lot of other places across the world.
Yes.
And they've had to put the car in reverse and say it didn't work. And so let's also recognize that this is an initiative. They're going to need to get a lot of signatures. The governor of California has already suggested that he doesn't agree with this. I think some of this is an overreaction, but of course, when you're looking at an effective date of this retroactively, I think that causes a lot of concern when people look at it. But, the bottom line is that this is intrusive. This is not consistent with what we would call a taxable event.
Correct.
And Becky, as you know, also on my resume is I used to be a tax commissioner. I used to do this for a living. And these are very, very hard to administer. And I think the left has gotten this idea that we don't really need to dig into the tax code to find those loopholes. What we really should do is just do another whole new tax. And I think there's a whole lot of ways to address income inequality, a whole lot of ways to address this the perception, if not reality, that rich people are not being taxed, than to simply embrace a wealth tax. I don't think it will work. I don't think it's going to pass. And I agree with Pat on one thing, that people, when they go to the polls, they say a billionaire today, it's me tomorrow.
Yes, sir. She she killed it. She killed it. She killed it on that. That was a Democrat senator. So you have a Democrat and Republican senators, former senators, right, agreeing with this. And the Democrat senator was a former tax professional. So she said it didn't make any sense at all. It's confiscation. It's theft. It's theft. Again, I'm going to give you guys your plan in a second, but let's go back to CNN real fast, guys, and get another exchange of them actually warning. They are warning this wealth tax. Listen to this, guys. Let's get into it.
I'm not arguing for it. I'm just saying it's not a millionaire tax. It's a billionaire tax, and the idea would be, I guess, to use that revenue in order to offer improvements for the average Californian.
Worth debating. Why pick $1 billion? Why in Washington did you pick $1 million? Why don't you pick 999,999? Why not pick 500,000? Why pick 5%? Why not 6? Why not 10? Why not 20? Why not 50? The thing is, it's all arbitrary just to attack people that we hate. And it is not for the public benefit. In California, the state auditor just found $70 billion in fraud going on in the state. The reason they need a wealth tax is to cover up the fraud. The hole in the budget in California is due to fraud. That's why they're trying to tax these people.
No, but you just admitted that it was about in every state in the union.
70 billion?
States and in blue states. I mean, look, in Mississippi, there was...
So hold on. Scott brought up a point. He was saying that, hey, the reason why they want this tax, because remember, governments don't produce a good or service that generates revenue. Their revenue is taxes, is a what? There's a $70 billion deficit that California has. I'm going to tell you what that is in a second, right? $70 billion, and it was for their Medi-Cal. The Medi-Cal, which is healthcare, this is their Medicare, but it's for California. They call theirs Medi-Cal. It was for that. That's the reason why they did it, because of the theory of being able to give everyone health care. Who's everyone? Illegal immigrants. Okay, I'm gonna slow down because in a second I'll break it down to you. Here you go.
It's a massive fraud scheme.
What about the other end?
A massive fraud scheme that was, I think, something like $70 million.
What about the $70 million? They're pikers compared to Minneapolis.
Well,
what's going on there right now?
You just said, look, that's a lot of money for the state of Mississippi. But
how about $9 billion in Minnesota?
Let me just lay out what this is. Ro Khanna.
Again, you have CNN defending this tax. Like, these people really believe that they can spend your money better than you. They really believe this. Guys, we're not done. Are you going to say, why are you showing all this? I got you, baby. I'm going to break it all down here in a second. One more video, guys. And this is going to be kind of the icing on the cake. This is the Young Turks, right? And they are very upfront at what they are for. And you're going to see here in a second, right? Here is a tech billionaire right here. And he's going to give you his thoughts on this billionaire unrealized gains tax of 5%. Here we go.
It's like the Democrats are doing everything they can to get me to leave the state. I don't want to. I really am resisting. I mean, they've raised my income tax to, what is it, like 13.3%?
13.3, yeah.
And I know it's going to 16. They've been boiling the frog. I still haven't jumped out of the pot. But for me, I think the wealth tax, I'm going to have to jump out of the pot with this.
This is strategically why, Chamath, I'm glad I got out of California right before I was about to billionize. That was the smart move on my part.
Oh, thank God. I mean, how else would you hoard your billions of dollars and avoid paying taxes? Now, billionaire tech oligarchs.
Listen to what she said. How else would you hoard your billions of dollars and not pay taxes? The key word is his. Not the government's. His. He worked hard for his billions, not the government's billions. But you see the pompousness on this. We ain't done. Let's get to it.
Like the scumbags you just heard from in California are on full panic mode thanks to a proposed one-time tax on their staggering wealth. And they're so upset about it that they have launched an offensive against the one congressman in California, and that's Congressman Ro Khanna, who is supportive of the one-time tax on these billionaires. So, Cenk, your 2 cents?
Before I billionize is one of the most obnoxious phrases I've ever heard. So what you're gonna see here is a bunch of super rich men crying about potentially losing 5% of their wealth to help people that are beneath them. I mean, they haven't even billionized. This monster Ro Khanna, he wants the Palestinians to be a state, and now he's taxing people to help the average American. Please, somebody stop him. So if they keep going like this, Ro Khanna will be president. Let's give you.
So let's get to this. So he's making fun of billionaires, saying, I don't want for my wealth to be stolen by the government because it's theft. Because it's unrealized gains. They hadn't realized it yet. And there's no refund if after the tax, right, their wealth goes down because of the market. They didn't give them no damn refunds. Or no, now get this. He's saying that they're opposed to giving up 5% of their wealth by theft to the government, right? To help those less fortunate deem what the government says of California. So we want to tax the billionaires, steal money from them, right? And give it to an entity called the California government, who is known for mismanagement funds, to the point to where they need this money to stopgap a deficit of the plan from when it comes to Medi-Cal, of them actually giving illegal immigrants insurance. It didn't work. And so because of that, here's a good plan. Let's go ahead and tax them more. So you have a billion talking about, wait a minute, my taxes went from 13% up to 16% in the state of California. And it was supposed to go up, but it did. He had one billionaire said, man, I'm glad I got out before I billionized, man. This is crazy. And these fools is laughing. Like, they really believe they can spend the billionaires' money better than the billionaires. Like the entitlement. But we ain't listen to this.
The facts.
So the proposal at hand, it calls for California residents worth more than $1 billion to be taxed the equivalent of 5% of their assets. It's a one-time tax. I want to repeat that again. Now, if the measure gains enough signatures to reach the state ballot in November and wins approval, it will retroactively apply to anyone who lived in California as of January 1st, 2026. Wow. Those with $20 billion in assets who resided in the state on that date would face a one-time tax of $1 billion and have 5 years to pay it, according to the terms of the measure. Now, the Healthcare Union of California is leading the charge on this proposed ballot measure. They say that it would help them recoup about $90 billion in federal Medicaid funds that were stripped from the state by the Republicans' budget law. And it would impact roughly 200 billionaires.
Notice what she just said. Let's go back and hear it again for the folk in the back row. So we know that Scott James wasn't lying.
On that date would face a one-time tax of $1 billion and have 5 years to pay it, according to the terms of the measure. Now, the Healthcare Union of California is leading the charge on this proposed ballot measure. They say that it would help them recoup. About $90 billion in federal Medicaid funds.
Right there. Didn't Scott Jennings just say that they have a $70 billion deficit? And I love how she said Medicare funds. No, it's Medi-Cal funds, not Medicare funds, Medi-Cal funds, which they mismanaged. So let's tax the billionaires more because we mismanaged the money that we were entrusted with. That makes some sense. Trash.
That were stripped from the state by the Republicans' budget law. And it would impact roughly 200 billionaires who are currently living in the state of California.
Stop right there. Let me tell you what's really going down here, y'all. I've been waiting to say this. Okay. You keep hearing this young lady say, they want to tax the billionaires to basically get back the Medicare funds of $90 billion that was stripped from them by the Republican bill. Let's unpack that real quickly, okay? What is she talking about? Why would she point that out? Well, you have two different healthcare systems. You have Medicare, which is a federal policy, and you have Medi-Cal, which is a California state policy, right? States normally get Medicare funds to be able to use those funds to cover healthcare costs for Americans. Again, for American citizens. California was being very strict, right? What they were doing was they were receiving the Medicare federal funds, changing the code within their system so that they can use those funds for Medi-Cal, right? Now the Medi-Cal was there because they broadened it out so they can actually provide healthcare coverage for illegal immigrants, which is against Medicare policy. But they were being shysty by using the code to be able to make that happen. And what happened is the Republicans passed a bill. I think it's the big, beautiful bill. There was language to there concerning the Medicare-Medi-Cal conflict that resolved this issue, stripping them of that because they were stealing money from the federal government. It was theft. It's what they were doing the whole time. So they were thinking, hey, this law is going to strip this money from us. We ain't got to get this money back because we have a $90 billion deficit here. Now, I love definitions. The word deficit means the root word for deficit is deficient, which means not enough. Okay, there's more going out than coming in. Does that make some sense? That's what's going on now. Let's walk through this thing slowly for the folk in the back row. So if you had more going out than coming in, you'll always be in arrears at a deficit. So since the government does not make any goods or services that generate any revenue, what do? They just tax more. But they've raised taxes so much in California to where damn near 50% of every dollar that is made via income tax, right, is what goes to the state. And these Bamas still mismanage that. So they came up with a theory called a policy, right? A theory called a policy. What's the theory? Hey, let's go ahead and tax them on unrealized gains. Let's only talk about the billionaires, right? Because they love how they say they need to pay their fair share. We don't know what that number is. They never tell us what that number is. They never do tell us what that number is. Let's tax them at a 5% of their unrealized gains. They have to report all of their assets to us so we can know how much they're really worth. Now, watch this. Listen to what they just said. Do you think if they know all of the value of every billionaire's investments, their eyes won't get up more and they'll go for 5 to 10 to 20 to 30%? All right, here's the strategy, guys. The strategy is to continue to prescribe theory called policies that land them in a deficit so that they can continue to increase taxes. This tax on unrealized gains, as the Democrat senator said before, is not due. They tried this in Seattle in 2024 when Seattle charged a business head tax pointed toward Jeff Bezos, which is really Amazon. Amazon told them, hey guys, if you do this, we're going to leave. And Seattle said, whatever, do what you do, but hey, we're going to charge you this tax. Amazon left. They projected a certain amount of money that this head tax would generate. I believe it was in the billions, or at least the hundreds of millions, I believe. Now, guys, in the West, guys, they only collected $43 million, drastically below what they forecasted. It didn't work. Number two, guys, the strategy here is to create something called a precedence. It's a legal term for a legal standard within the court system. That's my definition. I don't know if that's the real legal definition, but it creates a legal standard within the court system. Why? This is not new from a state standpoint. The state of Washington charged the Moore family, and they taxed them on their unrealized gains. The Moore family saw this and appealed to the state courts, and then to the to Washington Supreme Court, and then to the U.S. Supreme Court. I believe it's still there. I believe I may be off on that, but that was the plan. California wants to be the first state to get this accomplished, right? So that they can create a precedent. Now, watch this where it goes. Let's say, for instance, this is added to the ballot. I'll let you know how you got to the ballot as well in a second. There's a political thing to this as well also. If this is passed and it comes into law, what happens is you're going to have someone sue and get it taken to a state judge. Let's say it's a county judge. The county judge, who's liberal, is going to say, most likely upheld. They're going to appeal it to a state judge. Liberal is in California. It may go upheld. It's going to be appealed to the California Supreme Court, which it may be upheld. Then they can appeal it to the federal court, which is the Ninth Circuit of Appeals. That is what it's called the liberal left Ninth Court. Now get this, the Ninth Court ruled that the unrealized gains tax that happened with the Moore family in Washington State was lawful. So they're going to most likely, if this goes up to them, they're going to appeal that it's lawful under California. So now you have in 3 different levels, county, state, and federal, legal rulings justifying tax on unrealized gains. And the Supreme Court may not, they could try to appeal to the Supreme Court, but they may not accept it. So now you have a legal precedence created to where now that becomes the standard. Remember, this is at the state level. Now, let's go to the political in here, and then we get back over to Chinkdom. Then we go over to some business guys. Gavin Newsom's come out and said that he's against this. Why would he do that for? When you think of politics. Politics and business are the exact same. They're the same. So when you think politics, think of business. Gavin Newsom, what is his desire? His desire is to run for president in 2028. He has come out and said, I'm against this. Why? Because it is not good for him from a national standpoint. He worried about California. California's loony. They're loony left. It is what it is. But also, have you noticed that you've heard nothing from any state legislators in California? U.S. senators out of California? Only one congressman out of California, Ro Khanna. And Ro Khanna has the Silicon Valley in his district, right? And the market cap for the Silicon Valley is $18 trillion. Now, when it comes to primarying him, it's going to be very hard to beat him because last primary he actually got, he won the election by 30 points. He destroyed his opponent. So in his mind, he's safe. It may be just safe. It'll be safe. But the problem is this here is notice how they are very quiet because they know this is very unpopular from a nationwide standpoint. Notice that. So again, that's the strategy. Is to come up with theories called policies that do not work, that justifies a higher tax on the citizens. You're marketed as the billionaires not paying their fair share, right? So that's how you're marketed, hoping that they won't leave. They've already said that a lot of them said that we'll threaten to leave, which will cripple. And these are Silicon billionaires, which will cripple California. Guess who's left there holding the bag, y'all? The middle class and the poor, which was really their target from the get-go. But they just couldn't tell you that because then you'll be against them. All they need, guys, is 850,000 votes. Now, let me bring in PBD them in a second, okay? Bring them in a second. And finish this up. We'll bring in Patrick David them, and they're going to talk about how this actually came up and how slick they were to get it out. Here we go. Let's get to it.
And unsurprisingly, tech oligarch donors in Silicon Valley are very opposed to the tax, which is why Gavin Newsom, who takes money from the billionaire donors, is very much adamantly, he says, against this tax. So the billionaires claim that it will stifle innovation, the same argument you hear over and over again, and drive entrepreneurs out of the state. Now, I just want to add a quick caveat here because I can't help myself and I want to be as honest as possible. I have no problem with the idea of this tax or implementing this tax. But I do have a problem with the fact that California is the highest tax state in the country, cannot account for tens of billions of dollars in taxpayer money that has been allocated for homeless programs as homelessness has skyrocketed in this state. And so the argument that we need to tax more would land a little better for me personally if our money wasn't constantly stolen by various organizations and entities and nonprofits that defraud the system and get away with it time and time again. I have to add that.
So hold on. Let me get this straight. Because she just spoke in a circle. This Bama is saying that she's okay with the tax, right? In other words, confiscation of the billionaire's wealth to give to the state, while at the exact same time saying that, hey, but the state allows for a lot of fraud to happen and they mismanage a lot of the resources. What? Based on that fact alone, you should be against this. Because all they've shown is they're the highest tax state in the union, and they mismanage resources all the damn time. You just said it. But then you say that you're okay with them taking the wealth? What the hell is going on? They have a homeless crisis. Medi-Cal is just the rules to pay for insurance for illegal immigrants. And you guys pay the highest taxes in the union. What the hell is going on? Is this bizarro world? What is this? This is laughable. And she's saying it comfy like she just making a point. I'm like, this is the stupidest point I've ever heard in my life. You should be opposed to this tax based on the mismanagement of the California government. And you said the theft. So you know of the fraud going on, but you still want to give them more money? Get the hell out of here. What is this? Trash, garbage, horse manure. It's this mess. My God. Now let's bring in some common sense now. Some damn common sense. Stupid. Dumbasses. Here's Pastor McDavid, them businessmen that can balance a freaking budget. Talk about this thing. Here we go.
Having to do what California is doing. Californians, a week ago or so, just recently, took a bill to the Attorney General that they want it to be on the 2026 November ballot for people to vote for, to give 5% tax on anyone that's worth $1 billion or more in the state of California, effective January 1st, 2026. So if you live in California as of 1/1/2026, and you're one of the 199 billionaires that lives in California, they want to tax you 5% of your net worth, not your cash, net worth. This is unrealized gains. This is you own a company worth $400 million. They want to tax you 5% of that, whatever equity you own. And what they're saying they want to do with this is that's going to give them $100 billion. Of the $100 billion that they collect from billionaires, the 199, they want to take 90 billion and put it on their broken healthcare system that they have. And they want to take 10 billion and put it on their broken education that they have, which most likely.
Look at this, guys. Look at this. This is their spending plan. Look at it. Let's make it bigger for the folk in the back row. Make it bigger. Here we go. 90 billion on broken healthcare deficit. 10 billion on the broken education. What?
This stuff is going to go to illegal immigrants that are coming. It's not going to go to the people that really need it. It's going to go to others. And then, by the way, check this out. The number that some people are, come on, this is not going to happen. There's no way people are going to vote for this and all this other stuff.
Stupid ass.
They need 875,000-ish signatures by spring of 2026 is what they need to make it on the ballot. If they get the 875,000 signatures, which, by the way, how hard is it? You got 40 million people living in California. Only 199 people are going to be affected by this. Do you not think out of the 40 million people that live in California, they can find 875,000 to vote to destroy this 199?
Yes.
Don't you think they're going to be able to pull that off?
Easily.
Of course they're going to be able to pull that off. So the question then becomes, what the hell is California thinking? Yesterday, Ro Khanna was going back and forth with myself, with Chamath, with Jason, with David, with Tom, and all these guys that are going back and forth talking to them about this 5% billionaire tax, as if these 199 billionaires don't have a place to go, as if Texas won't gladly welcome them, as if Florida won't gladly welcome them, as if Tennessee won't gladly welcome them. You know how many people will gladly welcome founders, investors, PE guys that are willing to create jobs? Anybody and everybody. So I'll pause here. Tom, I'm going to come to you because I got a lot of stuff to say about this, but I'll come to you first. What are your thoughts on this issue and where are you at with it?
Boy, where to start? And I would try to go quick and hit this bang, bang, bang. First of all, to get it on the ballot, here's what they did. If Gavin Newsom says, I'm going to use my pen and I'm going to edict it, he's got a problem. He's going to catch all the flack. Ro Khanna comes out and says, hey, I'm in favor of that. But did he put his name on it? No, he didn't put his name on it. So he doesn't be there. What they did is they went to SEIU, which is a union, Service Employees International Union, and they went United Healthcare West Union. Do you know how many people, how many members SEIU has in California? 496,000. 400,000 are regular workers, 96,000 are state workers. Wow. So they got the unions, Pat, to sponsor the ballot measure.
Right.
That way, Ro Khanna's, oh, no, this is the people. What is more people-oriented than the workers and a union? What is more patriotic than a union of workers standing up and saying, let's use the process of democracy. Let's put something on the ballot and let all people vote for it. That's where this came from. So Ro Khanna and others are not actually kind of sponsors, co-sponsors in a traditional sense. They've kind of got it on the ballot thanks to the unions. Step one. Step two, they got all these union people. They're going to get the signatures from the union sponsors. Everybody can say, hey, Pat, you're in the union. Remember, you pay $19 a paycheck. We're trying to get you benefits. Sign. So all the union people don't have any. They're going to know who's naughty and nice and who's signed. So that's step one. Step two is they didn't just decide they're going to make it another tax. All they had to do is say, hey, top tax, I think, is now 13.3% for your wealthy dollars, I think under 300,000, something like that. Yep. Just put 2% on it. They didn't want to do that.
Correct.
I'll tell you why. Once the Democrats put a knob on the dashboard that says new tax, what do? They turn the knob.
Correct.
And it doesn't say 5% anymore. It says 6%, 7%, 8%. Or they say, oh, this will be 5% every 4 years.
Yes.
They're gonna come back to it. That's the way it works. Point two. And then point three, people are not being told the truth. All of these billionaires have already been taxed on the money.
Correct.
Or as soon as they cash that stock or it goes public or they sell their company, they will get taxed on the money. You know it. I know it, Pat. You have experienced it personally living in California. It's a big tax. It is a lot of tax to pay for the weather, which is provided by God. And I don't think God gets much of the money that they tax. So you have to take and look at it both sides and say, wait a minute, this is not a tax. This is asset seizure. That is my opinion. This is asset seizure, which is contemplated, which is going to be recurring, and it's designed to erode the billionaires. And California just wants to be the first, but the other blue states will follow.
Correct.
Yeah, and by the way, while we're going through
That is the whole plan. You see how they did that whole thing, guys? Use the union to actually get the signatures for the ballot, so that the politicians can actually have plausible deniability. The people wanted this. It wasn't me. That was the whole ruse. And Tom is right. A lot of times the billionaires are already been taxed on those dollars already, because if they sell, they get charged a tax. This is if this makes it on the ballot, California's curtains. If you are in California, listen to me. Get out. Go. Leave. Get out. Run. They are crazy out there. They really believe that they can spend your money better than you. And they believe that they are entitled to do it. Again, it's all the rules. All it is, it's all the rules, y'all. Get out. Get out. Get out. All right, guys. Second one. All right, second topic. Man, Dallas housing market. You know, your partner is in Dallas. Cliff and I are in Dallas. And this is near and dear to our heart because we analyze the Dallas market all the time and other markets too. And right now what's happening, guys, is as me and Cliff talk about it, this is really the current market analysis for Dallas. But what I want to talk with you about, guys, I want you guys to hear what's going on here. And we can kind of go from there. All right. Let's bring in our guys from Reventure out real quickly. Let's talk about this Dallas market, guys, and then I'll give you my commentary on what's really going on. Let's get it in. Here we go.
Just how much worse is this housing downturn going to get in Dallas, Texas? Home prices are dropping all across the DFW metro, and now inventory has hit a record high. You can see values across DFW are down 4% in the last 12 months. And in some counties, like Collin County, they're down 5.2%. In some zip codes here across DFW, values are down almost double digits in the last 12 months. So there's a full-scale correction already playing out, with some neighborhoods actually dodging this correction so far. Prices are going up in some neighborhoods. I'm going to talk more about these later. And the whole reason this market is starting to correct, which is good news for you as a buyer, is due to a big surge in supply and inventory. There's about 30,000 homes now on the market across DFW's metro area. That's the highest level of supply we've seen going back to the last crash. This inventory just keeps rising. It's actually gone up by 4x almost from 2021. Look at that increase. In 2021, there was 7,300 homes on the market in November 2021. Now there's 29,000 homes on the market in 2025 at the end of the year. The long-term average for November is 19,000. So we're at a 50% inventory surplus in DFW.
Now, let me tell you why, guys, he's actually right about this. It's because of a couple of things. Number one, a lot of sellers are addicted to the sales price that they want for a property. And they'll say, well, the comps say XYZ. You're in a buyer's market. So comps really don't mean nothing. It's really depending upon what the buyer is willing to pay for the property itself, right? So you have too many sellers really steadfast in their sales prices. I'm seeing some prices come down a little bit, which is fine, but I'm gonna have to see some serious cuts. Now, for those that are lucky enough to be able to, blessed enough, I would say, to be able to get an offer that's close to their sales price, the sales price was actually happening a lot of times is they have to give up a lot of concessions. So you may get your price point on the sales price. What's happening is you need a concession when it comes to, I don't know, carpet, appliances. There's a ton of concessions given that eats into the take-home profit of said seller. So you may not see it on the purchase price, but on the HUD, you'll actually see a lot of concessions. One of the biggest concessions is credits back to the buyer so that they can buy down their rate. That's one of the biggest concessions. That's what's going on, guys. That's the reason why. Number two, back in 2021, I believe, people began to manufacture pay raises by borrowing or paying for bills on their credit card, manufacturing a pay raise by doing that. What they did was it added another liability to their balance sheet. And when it comes to you wanting to go get qualified for a mortgage on the retail side, the residential side, retail, you have something what they call debt to income ratio, or DTI, right? That looks at the debt you actually have to your income. There's a ratio of that, this debt to income ratio. Now, there's a certain percentage that buyers, that the lenders look for. Now, a lot of these buyers actually have a higher DTI ratio than the lender allows. So therefore, what you have a lot of times is buyers that can't buy properties because they're unbankable. Therefore, leading to less sales, which leads to stagnation in the marketplace. Number three, the rates that people are paying right now, they're getting quoted for FHA price probably 6.25%, 6.5%. If you go conventional, you're looking at probably 8, 9, or 10%, because conventional is not government sponsored. It's not. FHA and VAs are. Therefore, that justifies a lower interest rate because there's no risk for the bank. There is an FHA or VA loan. It's sold immediately on the secondary market to the government. It's sponsored by the government. It's and really at a higher price point. To be honest with you guys, when it comes to conventional, that's more of a secondary market sale, but you have to couple those together to mortgage-backed securities a lot of the times, and you got to sell them to investors or the market. It's what it is. A lot of your retirement it has a lot of mortgage-backed securities. They do. They do. But the thing about it is, if the conventional loan mortgages are generating a 10% interest rate, or is that attractive to a consumer? Don't know. To an investor? Don't know. It may be. It may be. I don't know. But we'll see. But all I'm saying, guys, that's what's really going on. Is it's not really attractive to investors right now. It's not. There's a lot of money on the sidelines. This is the reason why you have the Trump administration coming out with 50-year mortgages. That's going to happen. That's why you also have the federal government also saying that consumers can now put cryptocurrency on their balance sheet as an asset. Why? That makes them more bankable. That lowers the debt to income ratio, because if you have a cryptocurrency on your balance sheet, personal balance sheet, right? What happens is that goes on your income side. So therefore your income goes up. Therefore you qualify for what? Mortgage, because your debt to income ratio meets that percentage that the lender is looking for. And you know what's going on? Now, some people can use cryptocurrency as a way for them to put a down payment, but typically you're going to have to sell that crypto to get that done, because you can't leverage it at all, because that adds more liability to your balance sheet. Remember, that income ratio, very simple, not hard. This is the reason why you see a high inventory on the market. I would not be surprised. Here's my theory. Right, let me go over here real fast. Here's my theory on the flip or hold scenario, right? The smart play. And before I answer that question real fast, let me go here real fast. What's the investor's edge on this? This will be a hybrid of crypto and real estate strategies for new wealth class. What that means is you're going to begin to see crypto become more active in lending. Tokenization is going to happen. They're already doing it on the investor side in real estate. I've seen it. They're going to inflate the debt away. It's not enough revenue that can come in from a tax standpoint, a tariff standpoint, that can pay down $37 trillion in debt. And the $37 trillion is a lie. That is not the federal debt, because that excludes Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Those are liabilities on the balance sheet. The reason why they're not there is because the government does what they call off-balance sheet accounting. They don't count that into the debt. If you and I did this, we would go to jail for fraud. Off balance sheet accounting. Okay. So if you include that in there, you're looking at probably over $150 trillion in debt. We don't have enough tax revenue at all, enough tax revenue at all to pay any of this down. Do not. It's what it is, guys. So the natural thing to do is they're going to inflate the debt away. So what can you do as an investor, right, to be able to capitalize on that? All right, here we go. Let's go back over here. Should you flip or hold? In my opinion, this is a great holding space, as long as you buy right. I like to buy properties below wholesale. The reason why is because if I buy right, I can liquidate or leverage the right way. Does that make some sense? You make money when you purchase, not when you sell. The selling is icing on the cake, right? So if I buy right, renovate right, I force appreciation by renovating the property, whether it be commercial, apartment complex, or residential, I can refinance long-term debt, right, that justifies the DSCR. Rent itself, which is really about, I know I'm reading for 1.15% of the appraisal value. That gives you what you should be charging in rent. 1.2 is good, but I do about 1.15. 1.1 is a little bit too low for me. 1.0 is really low. But anyways, I digress. To me, this is a great market to hold right now. To just hold fast. Just hold. And wait for the reset to, because we're in the reset. Wait for the reset to continue to actually get done. Then what happens is you can flip the property, you can flip the note if you actually sell the finance property out, put it on the market and flip. Then I would say hold now, flip later. Hold now, flip later. Because when you flip later, it becomes more valuable. And you actually have income coming in. Just saying. I would say go back here, guys. Again, learn about crypto. I own no crypto at all. Cliff owns it. He loves crypto. For me, I understand it, but I thought it was just the stock market on steroids. So I just said, no, I'm not going to do it. But right now, I am wanting to do that now because it makes sense for me to do. It makes sense. So what you're seeing in Dallas is normal for a lot of other markets. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Houston, of course, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Waco, Nashville, Memphis. Should I keep going? Those are red states. They really are. For me, I like investing in middle America because typically that's at the bottom. There's a very little inflationary effect there, so it's already at the bottom. So the reset is very minuscule, right? What's a mid? I guess a mid area for me. Jackson, Mississippi, Starford, Mississippi, Killeen, Texas, Temple, Texas, Del Rio, Texas, which is where our Air Force Base is. Maybe even Bracketville is another one. That's another one in Texas. Lufkin, Texas. Nacogdoches, Texas. Diboll. You may say, Dale, what are these towns? These are called mid-tier towns. Every state has one. I don't invest that much in major areas unless it's a killer deal. I don't. Right now. Just saying. Apartment complexes. I like Memphis. I like because Memphis I can buy cheap and I can force valuation, right? Force appreciation to get a higher valuation, but there's a little bit of security risk there. Memphis is kind of rough a little bit around the edges. So if you can't know what you're doing there, I like Detroit, Michigan, but it really depends on the area as well. Also, because Detroit really written hard to paint when it came to building up the downtown. Downtown's gorgeous right now, which is great. You have the car companies there. So that's just me. That's me. Make sense, guys? I love buying apartment complexes in college towns, Waco, Houston, near the campus, Greenville. That's another mid-tier town. Hello, McFly. Canton, another one. I'll give you guys some game today, guys. Some game. So, again, guys, you make money when you buy, not when you sell. This is the reason why we give away this free ebook called Distressed Property Investing. You make money when you buy, not when you sell. If you learn how to locate distressed properties, guys, you're never broke ever again in your life, because you always have a plethora of assets to be able to acquire and or monetize, right? Or flip if you're in a good flipping environment, right? Or cash flow, you're selling finance or leasing, but you bought the correct way. You knew how to locate distressed properties, right? So if you want a copy of this free ebook, DM me the word real estate, right? Or you can see on the QR code on the screen or in the show notes. Click on that link down there and go right to it, guys. You answer a few questions on the survey, which is very easy to answer. Then you download the free ebook. It is free. And if you want us to walk you through the actual book itself, line by line, and walk you through live deals, and also can access to that as well. Also, I actually downloading the free ebook as well. All right, get access to that video. You'll see the instructions on how to get access to that. We walk through the ebook with you, Cliff and I. All right. Number 2, guys, if real estate is not your thing, not a problem with it at all, you're going to need a side hustle. Okay, inflation is not going to go down. It's not. Cost of living is not going to go down because it's due to inflation, right? And inflation is outpacing your income. You're in trouble. So you have to begin a side hustle of some sort, right? AI is a tool that I invest heavily in, right? But it is allowing for businesses to be able to run their operations more efficiently, right? But by doing that, they've created another business model called a pass-on model, to where you can begin a side business, right, and pass on consumers to the licensed agents. In other words, a lot of banks are closing a lot of their brick and mortar places and bringing their licensed people into one location. Same thing with insurance as well, right? But what that does is that they create a go-to-market strategy, which can involve you, right? Give you an example. What if you can make up to 20% on someone's health insurance premium monthly? How about up to 4% on a mortgage, car payment, car insurance, home insurance, renters insurance, deposits, when someone swipes their debit card or credit card, investor insurance, investor loan. Should I keep going? Up to 20% of an electricity bill or natural gas bill. Do you see the power of that pass on thing? See the power of the thing, guys? It is not hard. Oh, baby, love you too, baby girl. This is my daughter, guys. My daughter, she's here, y'all. Oh, she's supporting Pops. Love you too, baby girl. Love you too. Love you too. Love you. Love you too. It's my baby girl, y'all. It's my firstborn. All right. But at the exact same time, guys, what I'm saying is here. If you want to, there's a free presentation talking about this business model. Free to take a look at it. All right. It's called a FinTech business model. It stands for financial technology. Right. Scan on the QR code on the screen. DM me the word mentor, or so notes below. You click on the click below, and you'll get good. You can go right to that presentation. Again, answer a few questions right there for a survey. Those are free, and it takes you right to the free presentation. It's free. Now it's the time to level up. 2026, in my opinion, is going to be a boom year for those that are ready. The question I have to ask you is, are you ready? If the answer is no, Let's get you ready. Lastly, guys, is that it? Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it, guys. That is it. Well, guys, man, thank you so much for your time. I also have a podcast, guys, called the Counter-Move Podcast, guys. Here's a little bit of a sneak peek on what it is real quickly, guys, so you can see what's going on. Let me get to it real fast, y'all. It's called the Counter-Move Podcast every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. CST. Let's get to it.
Why they party? I'm in here grinding. Money I'm stacking. Why they rock diamonds? I can't relate to them, ain't much in common. I set a goal for me 2 or 3 commas. 7 figures, 8 figures to 9 figures. On a slow pace to get rich quick. Same time we just think different. Cause when you make it, it hit different.
All right, guys, that right there is the Counter-Move Podcast every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. You can keep with your party. We talk about business strategy, right, in the realm of life, finance, and politics. All right there, guys. All right there. Well, guys, thank you so much for your time. God bless you and keep you. You know how you end every single time, guys. Before you leave, while you can, you see that thing, baby. Take the picture for your mom and them. I just part that. God bless you. Happy New Year to you guys. See you guys next week, guys. All right, y'all. Peace.
My whole thing is, the one thing I hear a lot of the times when it comes to anybody in real estate is, I don't have the money or the credit or the time or the intellectual property. And I said, okay, no problem. I have the money, have the credit, have the relationships. I'll teach you how to locate a good deal, right? Buy below wholesale.
I love that.
And once I teach you that, right, I'll bring me the deal. I help you underwrite the deal, which is fine. I'll even fund the transaction for you as well. So there's no excuses on the table at all. That's why we call that the cash flow club, period. So what happens is people always ask me all the time, Dale, can you train me? Well, I don't have the time to do that. But what if I set up a platform for it to where you get on-demand training? Anytime you want to, because the training you may need may be after you get off work, early in the morning, during the day. You just log into your account and get the same training as if I'm sitting there one-on-one. We're talking about our attorneys, our general contractors, our appraisers, as well as me, talking about how to structure your business, how to put together what they call a power team. A power team is very important. How to put a deal together, right, and buy it at the right price point. How to market. That's one technique that people don't understand. That you can actually get a list of properties that from your city for free.
Whoa. So walk me through that. Like, you can physically get buildings or homes or properties available for free?
Yeah, I'll send you guys the bill in the mail. It's real simple. What you can do is you can actually call down to your city and ask for the violations division. What happens is you say, hey, I want to see what homes in our city actually have violations. What are violations? High grass, no paint, vacant. You have boards on there. Those are actually violations that the city or citation that the city has actually levied against that property. They'll give you that list for free. It may be a little bit of a fee, maybe $100.
Sure.
But it is what it is. Then what you do is you actually you can contact those sellers of those properties one-on-one.
Wow, and that's how you make your money. That's one way. That's one way.
If you'd like to learn how successful real estate investors make money when they acquire real estate and not when they sell it, click on the link below, swipe up, DM me the word to real estate to download our free ebook, Distressed Property Investing. The blueprint is in the ebook. Stay blessed. I'll let your partner and download the ebook today. Still working 40+ hours a week and still broke. Inflation's outpacing your wages, insurance is insane, and your side hustle just isn't cutting it. What if I told you there was a way for you to build income by leveraging and using the exact same technology that banks and big corporations currently use right now, with no inventory and no tech skills needed? We have helped hundreds escape the paycheck-to-paycheck trap by sharing smarter services like lower cost healthcare, competitive auto and home insurance, better loan products, higher yield bank deposits, and even ways to cut energy costs, all in one place. Take this 30-second quiz to see if you qualify. Click on the link below or click on the link in my bio.
Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Big God, big grace.